So I explained to my friends, what is Shaumbra, they say. And the angels, by the way, don't know everything. You have this misconception just because you're dead, you know everything that's going on. Do you realize what experts humans are in blocking themselves from the spiritual beings? Even God can't see you, can't hear you, can't look into your little thoughts when you're blocking yourselves. And most humans block themselves about 82% of the time. 82. I love numbers. So, I try to explain what is Shaumbra when they ask me, what is Shaumbra? There's really not a lot of definition for it. It's obviously not a religion. I know who you are. Probably not a cult. Because as in general you resist groups. You don't really like groups. You don't want to join anything. So what is Shaumbra, they ask. It's not even spiritual. Not even spiritual. Because spiritual has such an old connotation. Spiritual to so many of the beings on the other side means, oh, how do I put this bluntly? I won't. It means phony, deceptive. Spirituality is some of the greatest feeding ground for the ego and the mind. The mind loves when people become spiritual because it gives them excuses to be righteous, obnoxious, closed-minded, and always searching. So I can't say Shaumbra is spiritual. So what are you? You're not intellects. And I mean that with honor and all due respect. No, you don't want to be intellects. Intellects so stuffy, so into themselves, so condescending. You can probably tell I used to be an intellect at one point. Not anymore. You're not airy-fairy, so I could barely call you New Agers. You might have been at one point, but New Age has that kind of connotation being out somewhere else. And working with Tobias over these years, you got through that New Age period. You got through the living and existing in La La Land and having this life down on earth that was basically very, very imbalanced. No, you've learned to breathe. You've learned to be in your body, love your partner's body, love each other. You've allowed yourself to begin enjoying what life has to offer, which is so much. We're still going through the struggle because we're still getting over mind patterns, facts and figures. We're still getting over programming that's taken place over the ages, Atlantis, churches, schools, your parents, even yourself. You see, you're not the person you were 5 years ago, are you? No. You're not the person you were a year ago. So what are you? Who are you? I have to try to explain this to the other angelic beings. It actually gives me great delight because I can just say they are that they are. They are that they are. Indeed, they're going through a transformation process. And the transformation process is something that typically would take 3, 4, 5 lifetimes, and you're going through it all in a few short years. No wonder it's difficult on your body and mind. No wonder it's so challenging. But again, then, we have each other. You have each other. You have tremendous resources in the angelic beings who work with you every night. Every night. Oh, we have some incredible discussions and talks and bring in guests in the other realms. We'll talk about that later. But for now, try to explain, what is Shaumbra? Because there's nothing to join. You don't have any hierarchy. You don't have any leaders per se that are cranking out things that you're supposed to do or believe in. It's very loose, very loose. It's not a commune. Good Lord. You would not fare well in a commune. You're not meant to. You're too independent, and that is a blessing. You're far too independent. So you're not an organized group, and it leads me to believe this is the new energy. You're all very, very independent, really, truly. Some of you don't believe that. Some of you don't want to believe that actually is the problem. But you're very, very independent. Very strong will. One of the problems in working with you, and I mean this in all due respect and love, but you're very, very strong will. Not picking on anybody in particular, but it hurt my hand just to pat your shoulder. Very, very independent, but yet you can get together in a setting like this without any rules, without anything you have to do. It's all voluntary. Join together. Sometimes you say you're doing it to make the world a better place. It actually doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't. The world is what it is. True love, and love the kind that Spirit has for you, is absolute acceptance, absolute honor. So it's not really about trying to change the world, although it is very, very fulfilling to put out your blessings, your gifts, your potentials for humanity, knowing that others, if they choose to embrace them, aren't going to have to go through some of the torment and the hell that you've gone through. That makes the heart feel good. To know that the work that you've been doing has had such a profound effect, not necessarily on earth. You're going to see it on earth, but it really hasn't manifested here yet the way it's going to. Where it's having an effect is in the other realms. The other realms, we could talk for ages about it, but you know what it's like. You've been dead before, so if you let yourself remember for a moment, it is an experience. It is amazing. There are so many facets to it. It makes Earth look very, very simple, very easy. Because in the other realms, there is anything that you want, anything that you can imagine, any game that you choose to be part of, any reality. Yes, you can go to heaven on the other side, but it's one of millions of heavens. Churches create their version of heaven, and their devout members go there when they die, up until the point they realize that heaven kind of sucks. Because it's based on human parameters. 72 virgins? I don't think so. It gets boring because they don't tell you they always remain virgins. That's hell to me. So what is Shaumbra? I tell my friends on the other side, this is a group of humans who can laugh, who can experience, who are expanding, who are getting out of one of the most principled and structured type of qualities or attributes that humanity's ever had, and they're doing it with relative grace and ease. That's the mind, the mind. Again, not to say bad things about the mind. It was a brilliant creation by you when you came to Earth. I had to have a mind to deal with 3D or whatever reality you call this, to deal with this reality on Earth. The mind was developed to help you stay here in the physical body and to make the best of this reality. But we're going beyond that now. We're expanding into something very, very beautiful. So Shaumbra, this group of new energy pioneers, this group of beings who have had so many experiences here on earth and in the other realms, a group of people who have been leaders in their spiritual families, leaders in your spiritual families, the ones you who left your spiritual family to go it alone, but knowing all the time that it would have a profound impact on those that you left behind. A group that in recent years, a group you, who have actually disconnected from the spiritual family from which you came, whether it was the Order of Sananda, whether it was the House of Michael, Gabriel, any of the other archangel houses where you were leaders. You eventually, in recent years, disconnected from those for a couple of reasons. You had to find out what it was like on your own without carrying the responsibility of trying to free the energies in the other realms. You had to free yourself first. You had to do it for you, not for everyone else. You had to learn to love yourself first. It's actually easier to love someone else, to do things to structure your life for others. Very much easier, much easier. But when it comes to doing it for you, and when it comes then to all of the doubt, all of the outside criticism, all of the wondering whether you're worthy, that's where you really get into the deep energies, get into your true self. So I say to the beings on the other side, this is a hearty, truthful, gritty, loving group of angels who are pioneering into the new energy, not knowing what it is. It would have been different if we could have given you a book and said, Kathleen, here's what the new energy is. Now, do you want to be part of it? It would have been much easier. But here you're saying, I'm going to go into it. Damn everything. I'm going to go into this new energy. So, I'm so proud now that I've had these couple of months with you since Tobias has departed. So proud to be side by side with you every step of the way. I have my ways and my style. I do it to get the energy moving. I do it to get you into a bit of anger sometimes, a bit of shock, humor when I can. But I do it because I love you and because I'm enjoying the journey probably more than you are. Probably more.